Howdy, kids. Probably just triggered a few folks. Sorry, but not sorry. We are covering the Civil War, so we are not just covering one side of the Civil War. And as you can see, I'm at one of only a couple of the Maryland monuments in the whole park of Gettysburg. As mentioned before in other videos, including a recent one at Culp's Hill, the Maryland representation was very, very slim as compared to the huge donations from states like New York and Pennsylvania and so on. Indiana. Folks don't realize Indiana had a very large showing. So I'm going to keep this one quick, guys, without much commentary. I'm just going to read from the monument here and keep it moving. I do love my Maryland symbols, even if this one is dedicated to a Confederate regiment. On the morning of July 3rd, the battalion moving by the left flank formed at right angles with and inside the works and charged under a fire in front flank and rear to a stone planted 100 yards west from this monument. The 1st Maryland Battalion Infantry Lieutenant Colonel, I guess that's James or Jasper, someone can please correct me on this because I'm not familiar. Colonel Herbert Stewart's Brigade, Johnson's Division, Ewell's Corps. By the way, I think I said Ewell's Division in the Culp's Hill video I just did. All apologies, I know he was a Corps commander. Army of Northern Virginia, advancing from Rock Creek, which is funny because we have a Rock Creek in Maryland, or actually in the District of Columbia. About 7 p.m. July the 2nd, occupied the line of works at this point and held its position until next morning. So as mentioned, Ewell's Corps began a bombardment around 4 p.m., but it wasn't until about 7 p.m. that the main infantry moved in. And with them were a small battalion of Marylanders. So that's about it, guys. 400 strength in battle, 52 killed, 140 wounded. So for this gory Battle of Gettysburg, guys, I mean 50% is I want to say about par for the course. You know, some battles, you know, there were only 30% casualties, some there were 50. Some horrible parts of the battles there were you know, 80% casualties or more. Shaping up to be an okay day. It's a bit cool. The sun is playing games and playing peekaboo. It was just out a second ago, and you know, I said I was going to keep this short. I've never trekked down this little path. It looks like a path. I'll just take a quick walk. I was supposed to be getting some exercise in, but you know, I can't help myself. You know, I stop every time I see a cool monument, and I couldn't remember exactly where that Confederate monument to the Maryland Brigade was. Okay, it kind of looks like a path to nowhere. Alright guys, we'll turn it around and we'll close out in a sec. We do got some blue sky up there. I guess it'll be mostly to partly cloudy, but with some sun peeking out every now and then. It is springtime, so the weather is quite unpredictable. But I'm happy that things are warming up a bit. Gosh, this winter was brutal. As I've mentioned before, I mean, I was up here, as you guys know, pretty much throughout the whole winter. And wow, it was something else. Very, very cold. It was almost Canada cold. God help me if I were born and raised any further north than here. And granted, we've had more extreme weather lately, so, you know, some very cold winters and some very balmy summers. We'll just look at another monument or two while I'm up here. We've got the 29th Pennsylvania Infantry here. I like the ones with the eagles. July 2nd position of the regiment at 7 p.m. The brigade was withdrawn, and on returning during the night found the enemy in these works. Regiment took position in rear of this line with its right as indicated by the tablet erected to the left and rear, and from there a charge of the enemy at daylight of the 3rd was repulsed. After a contest of over 7 hours in which the regiment participated, it reoccupied and held the works until the close of the battle. There we have it again, guys. Conquest, which cannot be, you know, manifest destiny, which cannot be ignored in the greater story of Gettysburg. I've given that speech a whole lot, guys, and I'm just gonna skip it this time, but I just have to make a quick reiteration when it's appropriate. And that depiction, that seal, is found all over this park, guys. One more time, all over this park, on so many monuments. You know, they're pretty much spelling things out to those who will listen. I've said too much, guys. I said I'd keep it kind of short, so I'll keep it kind of short here. We'll see you on the next one. I'm gonna go do another Maryland monument for you. See ya.